Welcome. Welcome to White City Place Connect, where we're offering occupiers of White City Place a live platform from which to learn and engage from the comfort and safety of your own homes. My name's Dora. It's Wednesday lunchtime. You are all very, very welcome. So what you might want to grab, if you have anything similar to hand, is a block. Actually, this is a brick shape, and a block. Flatter shaped one if you have one. Please don't worry if you don't have any of these items. We can definitely do without it. Brick to the front of your mat, block by your side, and maybe a blanket or something to slide and glide on a little bit. We're going to start with a little bit of rolling today. So I'm going to take my little sheepskin rug and place it kind of across the top edge of my mat for the first little bit of our practice, and then we might move it around. So this could be a blanket or a towel, or you might just be fine with your mat. And we'll start with just a little settling process. So coming down onto your backs. Have the knees bent, feet can be hip distance apart. Or you may want to wiggle them a little bit wider and let the knees drop in to touch one another. You might notice if you choose that option, this creates a sense of spaciousness and spreading in the back of the pelvis. So that can be quite nice if there's a feeling of congestion or tightness in that part of your body. Your hands can rest, maybe one on top of the other on the lower belly. Or you could just have the arms down by your sides, palms facing up. And just taking a few moments to transition from your day so far to being here on your yoga mat. This is time for yourself, time to compassionately inquire. Bring your awareness to your breath. Just notice the breath as it is. Your hands on your belly. You may feel the gentle swell and release of your abdomen as you breathe. And just take another moment to check in with yourself, what it is that you have brought to your mat today. Welcoming every sensation, any state of your mind, any energetic state, it's all welcome here. Remind yourself that your intention is to be well in the body, to feel good in the body. Your body is entirely unique. Your circumstances, your history, all completely entirely yours, and therefore you may need to modify or adjust your practice to be well in your body, to feel well in your body. You can do as much or as little as you like. Just keep tuning into the sensory feedback and make your choices from that feedback from your body, from your breath, rather than your egoic mind. Let's take a few rounds of pranayama as we lie here. So take an exhale and take your breath and your mind down into the pit of the belly. And breathe into 3 parts in through the nose, breathing into the lower belly, breathing into the upper abdomen, breathing into the center of the chest, and exhale long and smooth. Breathe into the lower belly, upper abdomen, center of the chest. Exhale. Breathe in, in, in. Exhale. All in and out through the nose. Last round. Breathe in, 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 and release. Let this go and allow your breath to readjust, re-establish its own rhythm. And separating the knees if they're together. And then wiggling the feet a little bit wider if they're hip distance, perhaps not quite as wide as your mat. Imagining that your pelvic bowl was full of water. We are 60 to 70% water, and water has quite a force to it. It has quite a heaviness to it. So as you imagine water sloshing over towards your right hip, let yourself roll in that direction with the density of that. Let the legs and the knees follow. Rolling back to the center as you imagine that water sloshing back to the center and over towards your left hip to take you across the pelvis a little bit. So the legs are actually moving because the pelvis is moving. Coming back through to the center, just investigate this a little bit more. So just feeling into the fluid body, how if all the water would pour over towards the right, your legs would follow. Rather than taking your knees over to move the pelvis. It's a slightly different way of experiencing perhaps the same movement. And then coming back to the center. There's no hurry here. You can take your time. You could take one or two more if you're enjoying this. And as the knees come back to the center, when you're ready, draw your knees towards your chest. Just slip the hands over the fronts of the knees. Let's just relax the feet for now. And same action here as you imagine the pelvis full of water. Let the water kind of slosh over to the right. Roll over a little bit. Feel the density in the right hip, the lightness in the left hip. Coming back. Imagine water sloshing over to the left. And then back through to the center. If you like that, you can do that one more time. Try to relax the face, the jaw, the mouth. So it's really simple. Notice if your mind is reacting to the simplicity, if there's any resistance to this. And just notice that there's no judgment, there's nothing you need to do to change that. So the next movement we're going to do, you may want to have a little bit of a look. We're going to roll over. This time we're going to come to the floor with the thigh. That underneath arm, so I'm rolling to the left, my left arm releases, right hand stays on the knee. And you continue rolling on my fluid body. I might roll across the forehead, so I kind of gaze behind me. There's a nice release in the neck. As I roll back, both hands come onto the knees, and I go over to the other side. The underneath arm releases, rolling across the forehead to look behind me. And then from the fluid body, I'm adding the breath. So join in when you're ready. Inhale, knees come to the center. Exhale, bottom arm releases. You're rolling rather than turning the head. This is why you might want a blanket across your mat if you're on a harder surface than a carpet. Rolling across. You might be rolling slower. You might be rolling faster. Maybe one or two more times. So you've more or less done even amounts on each side. And come back to the center. You might have found you've kind of walked your back forward on the mat. Next, what we're going to do, again, another little rolling twist. Arms come out to the sides, and you're going to drop your knees over to the left. This is going to be our starting position with the chest facing the ceiling. I'm going to sweep my right arm down by my hip. It's one full circle. Inhaling, exhaling. Then next inhale, my right knee rises. My left knee comes over. Arms stay in a T position. Again, I'm moving from the fluid body. Left arm. Inhale. Exhale, arms in a T. Inhale, left knee followed by right knee, and continue. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. So one full round of breath, the rotation of the arm. And inhale and then exhale as you take each leg over. Maybe one more time. Or two more times to make it even. Notice how you might be moving towards the front of your mat. And just enjoy this feeling of moving fluidly, easily, with as little effort as possible. Come back through to the center and grab a hold of your block if you've had one. So that's a flat block. A cushion might do also. You don't need anything if you don't have anything. It's just to kind of squeeze and keep your knees together here. Palms are going to face or together, palms together in a prayer, and fingers pointing straight up towards the ceiling. So the arms first, as you take the arms over to the left, let the right fingertips trace along the inner edge of the arm. And the fingertips slide back. So you've got this sliding, gliding action. There isn't a moment when the hand loses contact with the arm. Okay, add the legs, so the knees go over to the right as the arms go to the left, and then come back through to the center, little rolling twist. Now this could be a third of the way, half of the way. Starting to engage the core muscles now, the oblique muscles. Maybe with the breath, so inhale and exhale as you take it over. Inhale. Exhale, take it over. Still sliding, gliding. This is a smooth action. And then coming back to the center. You can place the feet to the floor. Lose the block. Next one, I'm going to place my blanket or rug or whatever you have lengthways. It's going to support my whole back. You might not need this if you've got enough padding underneath your yoga mat. I just like to give myself a little bit of extra comfort. Palms are flat on the floor. I'm going to lift the feet off the floor. Create a little bit more energy now. Just by kind of bouncing the heels off the backs of your thighs. They may or may not make contact. If they do, that's fine. If you can give this a little bit of weight, relax the feet. So you might feel quite a strong kind of bouncy feeling in your ankle joints. It's actually quite nice and releasing, and through the bones of your feet. So keep going, creating a little bit of energy, a little bit of heat. You might feel your thighs are starting to burn a little bit, or you can feel them. Keep going. And start to just slow this down until you come to stillness. And as you come to stillness, notice all that aliveness, all that energy, the tingling through your shins and into your ankles and your feet. Flex your feet, and as you inhale, stretch your legs towards the ceiling. Have a hip distance between your legs. As you exhale, bring the heels to the sit bones, arms come up and over. Back to the hands to the floor. Inhaling, stretching your legs up. Arms come down. Exhale, heels to sit bones, arms come up and over. Really simply coordinating the movement of the legs and the arms with your breath. Can you stay present to even the simplest of movements? Adding to this, as you inhale, stretch your legs up, your arms rise vertically. As you exhale, Reach up towards your toes. Inhale, release the head and shoulders down. As you exhale, heels to sit bones, arms come up and over. Inhale, stretch your legs up. As you exhale, reach up as if to touch your toes. Head and shoulders come up. Inhale, head and shoulders down. Exhale, heels to sit bones, arms come up and over. One more time. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. Lovely. Take the hands over the fronts of the knees. Hug your knees in towards you. Let the lower back flatten. Take the hands behind the knees. Tuck the chin in and rock yourself up to seated. And then curl the shins around and come onto our hands and knees. I'm going to keep my little blanket here, just so that my shins can glide. It might be a little bit more comfortable for your knees. If you're happy just to be on your mat, that's totally fine. Then take the hands underneath the shoulders and the knees together, inner ankle bones together. This is just to feel that mobility that's available to us in our hips this lunchtime. Inhale, slide your right shin forward. As you exhale, clear the left thigh as the toes come across. Cross the thigh over and sit back a little bit. It's a little twisted child. Inhale, slide the shin forward. Clear the thigh. Exhale, extend the leg out behind you and tuck the toes. Inhale, slide the shin forward. Clear the thigh. Exhale. Sliding, gliding. Inhale. Exhale, extend it away. One more time. Inhale. Just noticing how your hips feel this morning, this lunchtime. And slide the toes away. Slide the shin back to the floor. The inner knees and inner ankle bones are together. Tuck your toes, but make sure they're not on your blanket. They want to be on your mat. Your hands are probably far enough forward already. Float yourself up into an easy down dog so the knees may stay bent with the legs together. So you're making one leg from your two. Soften the heels, fan out across the balls of your feet. Spread the toes. Press the tops of your thighs back and soften the elbows. Feel the spine suspended here, so as if it's running forward into space from the crown of your head and up into the space behind you from the perineum. Lower the knees to the floor, untuck your toes. We'll go with the left shin, sliding forward, bring your hips forward. Inhale. Exhale, cross the thigh over, hinge back. Inhale, shin slides forward. Exhale, extend the leg, tuck the toes. 2 more times. Inhaling. You can be moving more slowly, quicker than me. And extending your leg. Slide the shin back, inner knees, inner ankle bones, tuck the toes. Okay, make sure you're on your sticky mat so you're not going to slide away on a blanket. Downward facing dog with your 2 legs making one. Roll the pubic bones through the tops of your thighs. We might take a really kind of slow press up here, down dog press up. So you're going to keep your hips high. Start to bend the elbows out to the sides. You don't have to go far, maybe 2 inches, maybe 4 inches. You may be working towards the hairline, coming towards the earth. And then push away from the hands, send the hips up and back. Lower your knees to the floor, untuck your toes. Second variation, right shin slides forward. Maybe it's hovering off the earth. Scoop up the belly, cross the ankle over, and sit back. Right shin is maybe hovering as you take it forward, and this time extend the leg out behind you. Press the ball of the foot away. 2 more times. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale, so shin floating in space. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Slide the shin to the floor, tuck your toes, float yourself in a down dog. Again, the legs are together. Really slow down dog press up, elbows bend out to the sides. And you're kind of holding the shape of your inverted V rather than coming forward into a plank too much. And then push away. Lower your knees to the floor, untuck your toes. Left shin, maybe it hovers off the floor, clear the right thigh, exhale, cross it over. Inhale, exhale, extend it back. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhale, exhale. Slide the shin to the floor, tuck your toes, float yourself up and back into your downward facing dog. Raise both heels as you inhale. I've still got my legs together, but if you're not enjoying that, of course, please take them apart into something a little bit more familiar. Inhale, exhale. One more time. Inhale, exhale. We're going to walk our hands back towards the feet. So you might want to move your blanket out of the way. I'm going to do that now, actually. And step the feet hip distance apart. From your down dog, walk your hands back. Push the mat forward and let yourself hang over the legs. Soften your knees. Let your elbows relax. Let the head completely hang off the spine. Lifting the back of the abdominal wall towards the inner spine. So there's a little bit of support there for the lower back. So you can really hang comfortably. Sliding the hands onto the tops of the feet. We're going to roll up. So as you lift the navel, begin to inhale. You might need to take more than one breath, or it might be one long inhale. As the hands slide up the fronts of the legs. Bend the elbows, float the arms up, palms face forward. As you exhale, curl the fingertips down, tuck the chin as if you're rolling down like your yoga mat. Slide the hands onto the tops, down the tops of the legs, feet. As you inhale, walk the hands forward into a long down dog. Exhale, press the tops of your thighs back to find that inverted V. Inhale, float forward into a plank. Exhale, knees, chest and chin. Inhale, slide through, lengthen your toes. Exhale, lift your navel, tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Try that one more time. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Soften the knees, exhale, fold. Hands onto feet. Inhale, hands slide up the fronts of the legs. One long inhale, or maybe a few more breaths if that's too much. And then you're folding and unfolding as you come back. Inhale, walk your hands forward into a long downward facing dog. Exhale, press the tops of your thighs back. Inhale, float forward into plank, moving like water, knees, chest and chin. Slide through as you inhale. Exhale, lift your navel, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Step your left foot a little closer to your right foot, just so it's a little bit more centered. And start to float the right leg up behind you. Lead with the inner seam of your leg. Leg is floating out into space. Exhale, come forward, knee to nose, shin is hovering. As we did on our knees, cross the right thigh over, press back. Exhale. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, extend the leg up and back into space. Step the foot forward in between the hands. Help it with your right hand if you need to. Come onto the tips of the fingers. There's a little bit of buoyancy here. Hips are not too low. Keep pressing that top thigh, that back thigh up. And softly land your back knee. Untuck your back toes as a bit kinder to the knee joint as you exhale, hinge back. Keep the toes grounded and long. Inhale, come forward. So if you keep the toes down, it might be a slightly smaller movement. And you're just feeling how the femur heads move within the pelvis. that ball and socket joint. Exhale. Inhale. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. So a little bit of buoyancy here. Do a little check that you can take your fingertips off the floor. Stay looking down towards your right toes as you sweep your right arm back. So you'll feel the chest opening. See what it feels like to stay looking down. One full inhale and exhale. One circle of the arm. 2 more times. Inhaling. Exhaling. You might feel entirely different, an entirely different movement according to where your gaze is. You might have done 3, but we're going to do 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Plant the palms down. Let the right knee drop behind the right upper arm and slide the foot back into a high plank. Take the weight through the spine. Lift the inner thighs. Press the earth away from you. Lower your knees, chest and chin. Exhale, inhale, lengthen through. Exhale, lift your navel, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Soften the elbows. Feel the outer edges of your shoulder blades around your side body. Release the neck. And have a little softness through the spine here, so we're not so rigid. Step the right foot a little closer to your left. Float the left leg up behind you, lengthening through the inner seam of your leg. As you exhale, come forward. Knee to nose, hover the shin. Exhale, press the thigh over the right thigh so there's no gap. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, extend the leg up and back, 3-legged dog, and then step the foot forward in between the hands, coming up onto the tips of the fingers, pushing down to the feet. Then softly landing your back knee and untucking your back toes. As you exhale, come back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale. Inhaling, moving with your own breath, nice and smoothly, just experiencing the ball and socket joint, how it moves within the pelvis on both legs. Bring the front knee above the ankle, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Make sure you're not too long, and maybe do a little test to see if you can take the fingertips off the floor. Look down towards your front toes and circle your left arm back so the chest is opening. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more times. Maybe just try to stay looking down, might be a little counterintuitive. The chest is opening. We'll do 1 more, so I think we did 1 more on the other side. Plant the palms down, let the left knee drop behind the left upper arm. Slide the foot back into a high plank. Lower your knees. Chest and chin as you exhale. Inhale, come through baby cobra. Exhale, lift the navel. Tuck your toes, down facing dog. Couple of breaths here. And you can bring some movement into your down dog. Don't be shy of a little wiggle. Bringing a little bit of softness, a kind of watery element into your practice. Our intention is to feel well in this body. To feel good in this body. Let's walk our feet forward towards the backs of the wrists. Place the feet hip distance apart. Maybe you shift the weight from foot to foot. Maybe the hands are planted down. Feel like you've got 4 paws here, standing into the earth, maybe even making an impression into the earth beneath you. That feeling that the ground is squishy, yields beneath you. Let the head go. Let's cross one wrist in front of the other. We're going to roll up again, so lift the navel. Fingertips are going to drape in the space in front of you. Elbows bend, and it's as if you're peeling off a layer, taking off a layer of clothes, like you're lifting a jumper up and off, and release the arms down. Take an inhale as you reach out and up. Exhale, fly forward and touch the earth, soften your knees. Step back with your left toes into your lunge. Little hamstring stretch again as you exhale. Keep the big toe joint grounded. As you inhale and come forward, lift, keep lifting that left thigh bone up towards the sky. Exhale. Inhale. One more time. Exhale. Inhaling. Let's try this time to look towards your right fingertips as you circle the arm back. Notice how this feels very different. Taking the arm all the way up and over. Spin your back heel in and down here and take your right forearm onto the top of your right thigh. Reach your left arm forward and over by the cheeks, so Chandrasana, with the connection between the left fingertips and the outer left heel as you lift out of your right shoulder. How can you organize your pelvis so it feels comfortable and the femur heads are sitting comfortably in the sockets? It will be entirely unique to you. So we organize the pose around your own body rather than trying to make your body conform to a particular ideal of a shape. Let's float the fingertips to the floor. Turn your right toes in, left toes out. Walk across into a side lunge. It's going to be one breath, one movement. Exhale. Inhale, left toes in, right toes out. Right forearm onto the thigh, sweep across. And again, exhaling. Right toes in, left toes out. Walk yourself across. Inhale, toes in, toes out. Chandrasana. One more time. Exhaling. Toes in, toes out. Little side lunge. Inhale, creep yourself across like a ninja and sweeping the arm forward. Slide your forearm a little higher up onto the femur, onto the thigh bone. Can you press your thigh up towards your forearm and your forearm down towards your thigh? So there's quite a lot of resistance there between the arm and the thigh bone just to access the psoas muscle. It's a very deep muscle, but it's quite hard for us to get that felt sense of. Maybe you press the thigh bone up so much that the next thing that wants to happen is that right heel just floats off a little bit as you keep reaching out. Just skimming the floor. Place your right heel down. Come all the way up. And as you turn your right toes in, the right arm comes up by your ear. Keep turning all the way towards the back of your mat as you swivel up your back heel into a lunge. Right fingertips on hand comes to the floor. Left arm circles back and forward. Take the hands to the floor. Step back into your downward facing dog here. Soften your elbows and your tricep muscles towards one another. Step your left foot a little closer to your right. Float your right leg up behind you as you inhale. Exhale, slide the shin all the way to the floor. It's not a pigeon, so the shin is directly underneath the thigh. Heel towards the sit bone. Keep the back knee lifted, lift your chest. Press the heel away. The next inhale, slide the shin back. Raise the leg. Step the foot forward in between the hands. Come onto the tips of the fingers, soften your back knee. Glide your back foot forward to fold. You can move faster or slower than I'm suggesting. Maybe just walk yourself between your four paws here a little bit, as if you're trying to knead the earth beneath you. Take the hands onto the, well, no, we're just going to cross the wrist, lift the navel. We're going to peel off another layer as we come up. Shed another layer as you burst forth to release the arms down. Take an inhale as you reach out and up. Be fluid like water, moving through air. Exhale, fly forward, touch the earth. Inhale, step back with your right toes. Walk your fingertips back if it helps to keep the chest a little buoyant. Exhale, little hamstring stretch. Inhale. Keep that right thigh lifted. 2 more times. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, sweep your left arm back. Follow your fingers with your gaze this time. And take the fingertips to the floor. Spin your back heel in and down. Make sure you're not too long. Left forearm comes onto the thigh. Sweep your right arm forward, reach it out, and then turn the chest so the upper arm shaves the cheek. You could lift the cheek to meet the arm so you can feel that the crown of the head is again the top of the spine. Good. Move your pelvis, wiggle your pelvis so it feels comfortable in this pose. You can inhale, and as you exhale, take the fingertips to the floor. Left toes in, right toes out. Walk your hands across into the side line. So the toes in, toes out. As you inhale, sweep the arm across. Exhale. Toes in, toes out. Walk yourself across like a ninja, little side line. Toes in, toes out. Forearm onto the shin. Inhale. So maybe it's one breath, one movement. Maybe you need to take a couple. No straining. Holding it here. Sliding the left forearm a little bit higher up onto the top of the femur head, lifting out to the shoulder. Press your thigh bone up towards your forearm. Notice if that creates a little bit of release, maybe a sense of spreading across the sacral bones. Maybe not. Whatever your experience is whatever it is. Press the forearm down to the thigh bone. So that's that reciprocal tension. Maybe the thigh bone presses up so much that the heel floats off a little bit, but quite effortlessly. And as you place the heel down, come all the way up. As you turn the left toes in, the left arm comes up by your ear. Swivel yourself all the way around towards the right foot in a lunge. Back heel swivels up. Left hand comes to the floor. Right arm reaches back and over. Hands to the floor. Stepping back into a downward facing dog. Softening your elbows. Let the spine fall through your shoulders. Couple of breaths. As you float your left leg up behind you, inhale, exhale, sweep the shin to the floor, keep the back knee lifted, lift the chest. Sweep the shin back as the leg extends out behind you, and then step the foot forward in between the hands, come onto the tips of the fingers, soften the back knee, glide your back foot forward to fold. So this is where you might want to grab your brick. Could be a can of beans, could be a book. You might not need it. Just place it to the front of your mat. Let's roll up one more time, one wrist in front of the other. Let the hands drift into the space in front of you. Imagine you're peeling off another layer, another garment, and you're letting that go. Revealing yourself. Take an inhale. Just to yourself as no one else is watching. Exhale, fly forward. Step back with your left toes into your lunge. Take your brick back so it's underneath your left hand and in line with the toes here. Lift the chest so the arm is straight. Now you might just be on the tips of your fingers here. Reach your right arm forwards, the same arm to leg, lifting the thumb. So inhale, the arm sweeps down, the front leg begins to straighten, the arm could be on a diagonal behind you, or maybe a little higher. Bend the knee, bring the arm back, square the hips and the shoulders as you exhale. Inhale, inflate the hips up and back, never forcing the shoulder joints. Don't force it to be straight if that causes a lot of tension. One more time. Inhaling. A little reverse triangle prep. Exhale. Let's spin the back heel in and down. Swap hands on the brick. Maybe take it onto its medium level or low level, or you could keep it high And the left arm sweeps across. So maybe a little bit lower here in this Pranayama position. It's going to feel different with the hand a little bit lower. So feel your center, feel the pelvis and how it might need to adjust to make this just that little bit more comfortable. Take the fingertips to the floor, place your brick in front of you, turn the right toes in, left toes out. As you walk yourself across into a side lunge, left fingertips come closer to the foot. Left elbow nudging the shin away. So make contact there. And look towards your straight leg big toe. Walk yourself back to the center, turn the toes in. So the toes are in line with one another. Adjust the feet if you need to. Lift and lengthen your heart as you inhale. And as you exhale, walk the hands back, navel lifts as you fold. Now, can you feel into the force that travels from the legs through the feet? Moves through the talus to the center of the heel, along the sharp outer edge of your foot, little toe joint, across the metatarsals into your big toe joint. So the weight is distributed through the foot in that way. Come up onto the tips of the fingers. Extend your heart. Spin your heels in a little bit so the toes are turning out. Bend the knees out to the sides. You might need to walk your hands back a little bit. Cross one wrist. Rolling up. Let's peel off another garment. And open the arms out to the sides. Palms facing up. Goddess pose. Lift the inner ankle bones up and away. And shift my pelvis through the legs. Shifting the weight into one leg and then the other. Shoulders just moving on a level. And then find that place where you're right in the center. And if there's a hardening in the lower back, you could angle your spine forward a little bit. As the right arm comes over, the left arm drapes in front of the body. Without touching. Turn your gaze towards the earth and start to reach downwards. So you get a nice spiral, release in the muscles around each side of the spine. Take the fingertips to the floor as you walk yourself around towards your right foot. Into your lunge. Grab a hold of your brick once again. Take it forward and under the left hand. Right hand comes onto the sacrum. And you're going to twist towards the right. This is going to be Pravrita Chandrasana. Twisted half moon pose. Couple of steps or one step, making sure the brick's going to arrive underneath the shoulder. The back leg lifts. Perhaps toes point down. Hand onto the sacrum to feel if the hips are level. Feel the spiral from the center through. Breaths. Bending both knees. Tuck the left thigh behind the right. Right hand's going to reach around, maybe take a hold of the outside of the foot. You might need to look around to find that foot. And then draw the heel kind of forward and towards the outer hip. It's a standing, almost a standing Gomukhasana. Step back with the left toes. Loose the bricks. Hands come to the floor. Step back into a downward facing dog. Keeping the legs straight, do a little piston movement here as you lift one heel and then the other. So essentially the hips are rolling. Again, having a sense of that ball and socket joint and how the pelvis is rolling over the top of the femur heads. So legs are straight without bending the knees, just a little counterintuitive. Let's drop down, let's take a little child's pose. Not too wide with the knees, big toes to touch, come and sit down. Sweep the arms behind you with the palms facing up, maybe forehead on the floor. I just want you to do a little rocking action from side to side here to release a little bit of tension. Let your head rock a little bit of rock and roll. Maybe rolling across the forehead. A little jiggle to release a little bit of tension. If you're not enjoying this, you can just be still. You come to stillness. And back to your breath as it either reduces or the body feels the need to take a few fuller breaths. And stretch your arms out in front of you. You can inhale to raise you up, tuck your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward towards the backs of the wrists. Open the knees, cross the wrist, roll yourself up. We've got another layer to peel off. Burst forth, release your arms down. Second side, I'm going to move this way so you can see me. Take the book, should be at the front of your mat already. Take a big inhale. So you breathe wide, reach up. Exhale, fly forward and touch the earth, soften the knees. Step back with your right toes and take your brick back with you so it's in line with the toes. Right hand onto the brick, maybe highest level. Left arm reaches forward by your cheek. You can inhale as the arm sweeps back, take a twisted triangle. Arm can be on an angle or all the way up, and exhale. Inhaling. Not stealing what isn't given in terms of the movement of that shoulder joint. One more time. So you bring your back heel in and down, switch hands on the brick, so left hand onto the brick. You can turn it onto its medium level, its lowest level, it can remain high. The right arm sweeps over by the cheek. Think of creating as much space and breadth across the back of the sacrum as you can by adjusting how the femur heads are sitting in the sockets. That's one way of thinking of it. Take the fingertips to the floor, take the brick forwards, it's out of the way. Left toes in, right toes out. Walk your hands across, the fingers are inside the right foot. Right elbow nudges the shin away. Look towards your straight leg, big toe. Bring yourself back to the center, turn your toes in. Lift and lengthen to the underneath side of your body. Lift the navel and fold. Feel the weight distributed through the feet from the center of the heel across the long, sharper edge of the outer foot. Little toe joint across the metatarsals to the big toe joint. Arm up onto the tips of the fingers, spinning your heels in and bend the knees out to the sides, cross one wrist, lift from your center as you peel off a final layer. Arms come out to the sides. Engage the inner arches of the feet. Left arm comes over, right arm drifts across the body without touching. Start to turn your gaze towards the earth so you feel a nice release perhaps in the muscle that attaches to the side of the spine. Fingertips to the floor. Walk yourself around towards your left foot, swiveling up the back heel. Take a hold of your brick, take it forward, right hand onto the brick, left hand onto the sacrum as you twist towards that knee. So there's a twist in the upper body, and however many steps it takes to step that foot forward. Raising up the back leg. Adha Chandrasana. There's a spiral moving through the spine. Bend both knees, tuck the right thigh behind the left. Maybe reach around, catch a hold of the outer foot. Squeezing the inner thighs. And as you step back with your left toes, lose the grip. Right toes even, step into your downward facing dog. Soften the elbows. You turn your head from side to side. A couple of breaths here. Some movement if you like. Just a moment of pause. Release yourself down into a child's pose. You do a little jiggle, a little rock across the forehead, like a little wave to the spine. Hips, almost feels like a little figure of 8. Arms down by your sides if you like. Just be still. And take your thumbs by your cheeks, use your hands to press yourself up. Knees together, sink your hips to one side. We're going to come into an Upavista Pranayama. You could sit up on your block. If it's very difficult to sit towards the sit bones, you've got the sit bones quite far forward actually, and the tailbone that drops behind, like 3 little bones that create a tripod. If it's too much to have the legs so wide, bring them a little bit closer. So you can kind of feel those tripod bones. Now open the arms out to the sides, the palms face upwards, flex your feet. Take an inhale. As you exhale, come over to the right. Inhale, sweep the arm across. Exhale, over to the left. Inhale, come up. We'll go the other way, exhaling. Inhale, sweep across. Exhale, come over. Inhale, come up. One more time each side, exhale. Inhale, so moving from your center, almost like your limbs were spokes organized around the center, the wheel. Exhaling, inhaling, so moving around your center. Fantastic. Raise your arms a little higher. Scoop the shoulder blades onto the upper back. Root down through your sit bones. Chris, what's your beautiful feeling of joy, this pose, victory pose, the movement your body wants to make when you are celebrating. And we're going to twist over towards the right. Take the back of the hand over the thigh, maybe the back arm wraps around the waist. If you're very much a propper and there's a lot of hardness in the lower back, it's arching in the chest, it's puffing up, soften the sit bones down a little bit. If you're collapsing, then see if you can press down to the sit bones and lift yourself up. Or maybe that arm that's wrapping wants to be on the floor behind you to help with a bit of uplift. Have an awareness of the leg you can't see, from the sit bone all the way through to the heel. Float the arms back out to the sides. Scoop the armpits. This celebratory movement. Opening up through the heart. A little bit of movement to feel good in the body, to be well in the body. Twist over towards the other leg. Back of the hand comes over. The other arm could wrap. Maybe you anchor it on the top of the thigh. If you're collapsing, you may prefer to have the thumb on the floor. If you're propping, try to soften in the lower back. Floating the arms out to the side. Floating the arms down. Let's ease out of this. So take the hands underneath the knees. Drawing your legs together here and bringing the knees together. Just bring the feet to the floor, hands to the fronts of the shins. Just lift yourself nice and tall, slide the belly up. Maybe you're going to slide the hands across, take a hold of wrists and forearms, and just lower the chin towards the chest. Keep the back of the heart moving inwards and upwards. Let's make our way down onto our backs. Sit bones towards the heels. Curl your way down. I'm just going to draw the right knee towards the chest. Stretch your left leg long. Let's relax the feet actually. So just let the foot flop out. Just let whatever wants to happen in that hip joint happen. Right arm comes up by the ear. If you notice it's going to be too much, you can take the arm out to the side, left arm to the outside of the thigh. Roll across a little bit as you exhale. And then inhale, come back. And exhale. Maybe a little roll. Inhale, spring back. Exhale, leg is coming over. If you want to support that leg, you could bring the left elbow to the floor and just create a little shelf for that shin. I like this one. If you want more of a spinal twist, you could let the toes come to the floor. You could then kind of shimmy that left shoulder blade out to the side so that the right shoulder head comes down a little bit more. Feel free to take any variation of this that you feel is a neutralizing twist for you. Roll back. And just keeping the right arm where it is, slide the right leg forward. So you've got one long line to the right side of your body. Notice how that feels opposed to the left side. Draw your left knee up. Hug it in for a moment. Let the feet and ankles be relaxed. Left arm comes up by your ear. Right hand to the outside. Knee comes across a little bit as you exhale. And then you inhale, roll back. Exhale. Inhale, roll back. Exhale. I'd like to take the right elbow to the floor and support underneath the leg. If you want to take the leg further over, it's your choice. Maybe the right shoulder blade shimmies out to the side so the chest opens a little bit more. And rolling back. And then right arm to the floor, slide your left leg forward. So you've got one long line to the left side of your body. Now notice the difference between the right and left sides. Floating the arm down. And just to even out here, slide both feet up. Bring both knees towards your chest. Do a little rock and roll, a little movement on your pelvis, whatever feels good. We almost do a little figure of 8 here. Just snuggling the back body down. Take the feet to the floor. And you may be here, you may be back where you started. This may be your Shavasana. You can stretch your legs out, support your knees over a bolster or some cushions. You need a bit of softness to your lower back. And take a few conscious breaths. With each exhalation, releasing, relinquishing any attachment to your practice, any residual tension, letting go, letting go. Just for a minute here in silence together. Bring your awareness back to your body and your breath. And as if you were just waking up in the morning, you start to make any little movements, any little tension and releases that you might want to make. Put your arms up behind you. Or maybe even hug the knees towards you for the last time. Rolling yourself over to the right side. Before making your way back to a comfortable seat. Bring your hands to your heart in prayer. Take a moment to honor your practice, honor yourself, thank yourself for making time to be here today. Not only for yourself, but for the benefit of all. And with an open heart and a quiet mind, gently open your eyes. Namaste. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a peaceful rest of your day. Hope to see you soon.